Hello YouTube. So we getting right on into it. As you can tell, this is my updated ancestry results that I gotten just today. They just sent this to me, and I honestly do not know about this update right here because it's like it's quite a few things off. Oh, I hope y'all didn't hear my phone in the background, but like I said, there's quite a few things off. If y'all are not familiar with my face, you about to see it in a moment from previous videos that I've done. But this is my third um, ancestry video as far as the DNA. I have done other ancestry videos such as comparing my family members, etc. For y'all that don't know, I come from a rather mixed family. Even though I'm black, but a third of my family is white. A good quarter of us is Native American Indian, and then the rest of us is black or a multitude of races, whether you're mixed white, mixed Native, mixed black, but the rest is either black or mixed. So with that being said, being very familiar with my family, my great grandmother lived to be 94 years old, died in 2016. Her older sister, born in 1917, is still alive. I can trace my lineage even further back then to their grandparents in the 1800s. Yeah, knowing all that, I do not agree with the Nigerian DNA. And at first they had it right with having my Nigerian DNA low, but I don't know why all of a sudden they got me at 24% Nigerian DNA. Especially when you look at me and anybody in my immediate maternal lineage or in my paternal lineage, there's no, indication of Nigerian DNA that would be of this high magnitude. Next is they got Mali, which was the very first time I took this. They had me at like 16%. Then this went down to like 2%. Now it's gonna jump up to a astonishing 23%. Like I remember Senegal used to be my second, my third highest result. Ironically, it done fell down to 2%. Ghana in my last result was like 10%, but now it's dropped down to 2%. So I don't understand that. And y'all about to see the comparison in a moment. Ireland and Scotland, that's confusing as well because the whiteness in my family, we stem from North Carolina, and I'm very familiar that there is French in my family. I was not familiar with the Italian, but I did later on confirm the Italian lineage in my family. But I don't know where the Ireland or Scotland is coming from per se. The English and Wales, yeah, that's to be, understood in the North Carolina, with the Atlantic slave trade and all. But I don't know where this Ireland and Scotland DNA is coming from out the blue. So I disagree with that one as well. It looked like they was also able to distinguish the Native American again, because they went from having me at 1% to 2% to now they done broke me back down to 2%, but in different regions. So this is the Native American in North America. Like I said, a good fifth of my family is Native American. I know one tribe we stem from is Eastern Band Cherokee Indian, and then there are some that are other, but I'm not familiar with that side of the family. And also I've been finding out there's some Native American in my father's side as well, but it's pretty low in regards to me, so I don't really focus on that. But I do recognize that there are plenty of Native Americans actually in my family, but this one is different. Now, this one says Indigenous Eastern South America, which is new to me, but not necessarily, because when I did the video in regards to people in my family, they was showing up as Aden, and I guess they just renamed it Eastern South America instead. But they used to be called Native American Aden as far as their ancestry results, where they would have the Native American Indian from the north, and then they would separate this from people who was from South America. So they just pretty much renamed it. But I never had this in my DNA. Like, and then it's saying Argentina, Brazil. Like, I didn't have this. Now, some of my cousins had this in their DNA, but on my direct maternal lineage, I didn't have this, so it'd be interesting if I can finally get my mother during tax time to get an ancestry test to finally compare this, because this is really interesting. Like, I'm trying to figure out where did they get Argentina and Brazil with me from. So I think that's another error on their part. Like, I don't see it. How far back my maternal lineage and paternal lineage stems from the North Carolinas, I don't see where we get the islands mixed up into this. But they got me as indigenous Eastern South America. Norway has still been there. Philippines, I have confirmed that in my family there is some Asian DNA that is outside of Native American, because y'all know Native American, there's always going to be some East Asian DNA mixed, but I found out there's some independent Asian DNA that is different from the Native American. And I know that's very confusing, but little history lesson. Most of the Native Americans that we know of came through the Bering Strait many millenniums ago. About 20 millenniums ago, they came through the Bering Strait and was the first people to inhabit the Americas. And due to that, they still carry a residual DNA from the East Asia. So you will always see a lot of Native Americans, even the ones who are pure 98, 99, they would still have that little trace of East Asian DNA. But the Philippines, I found out there's some Asian in my family that is totally independent of the actual Native American gene DNA that has the residual of Asian DNA, if that makes sense. And then last but not least is Sweden. That's another one that's confusing to me as well. But they have me as 1%. So all of these, low numbers, breaking it down in more detail, I just don't know where it comes from. Maybe they have updated this early North Carolina, African Americans to see where all this is coming from. So let's see. They got my area right because I'm from Fayetteville. And I can trace my lineage 6 generations back to Fayetteville. Okay, it's showing my people on my paternal side. Unfortunately, I have not had any immediate family members like second or third cousins to take Ancestry. Okay, so it's showing the migrations. Okay, so I think this is where the falseness comes in a little bit with me, because there hasn't been enough of my family to have taken it for it to really portray an accurate portrayal. Because like I said, I think it's just basing this maybe off my paternal lineage, but they're not really basing it off my maternal. And then it gets even more complex with DNA, because with DNA you get your mitochondria, but you don't get your paternal, if that makes sense. Like, how can I explain it? Like with females, you get, just the maternal, and you don't get the paternal. And in my case, of course, I got the paternal and the maternal. However, with maternal, it just goes mother, 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 but it doesn't show like your mother's father. So there's still a section of my DNA that's not being accurately, portrayed. And unfortunately, I don't have anybody on my mother's paternal side to get a more accurate DNA assessment, because once again, as a woman, my mother would not have gotten that paternal haplogroup to then pass down to me. She can only pass down the maternal, if that makes sense. Versus I can pass down the maternal and paternal, even with hormone adjustments and all that. I can still, pass down both traits, but I still don't have an accurate read from my mother's paternal lineage, if that makes sense. I hope that was, not too difficult to explain to y'all, but let's go into the before. This is one that I did back in October, so a little bit over a year ago. You see that it had me at 41% Cameroonian, Congo, and Bantu people. So I guess they just separated them. Let's go back to Ancestry DNA. DNA. Oh, they currently got a sale right now, just in case y'all want to jump on it. Lord, this storm got my darn thing messing up. Am I the only one whose spectrum is out? Like, I done downgraded to the app, and it's been messing up all day. Oh, but since I'm right here on the matches, I guess I can show y'all how diverse my family is. Like, y'all seeing right now, I'm being linked to several white people, several black people. Like I said, we are all over the place. Then pull up, black person for reference. Okay, but back to my DNA to compare mine's. But yeah, it looked like they done separated out the Cameroonian and Southern Bantu. No, they combined them again. This is confusing. See, Cameroonian Congo and Southern Bantu people. I'm now 30%. Oh, so it was combined with this one. So it was 41% just a month or so ago. Well, before today, and now they dropped me down to 30%. But my very first video, y'all see that I was 28% Cameroonian and then 21% Benin Togo. This was way back in 2015. That's why I said they have constantly been updating this. So they had it separated when I first submitted my results. Y'all can see right here, Senegal was 14% back then. And then I don't even have no Senegal in here now with this one. But then this one, it pops back up again, but at just 2%. And then Ghana was 2% right here. But Ghana was 10% right here. And said it increased by 6%, which means that the Ghana in this video was 4%. So I went from 4% Ghanaian to 6% Ghanaian to just 2%. That don't make any sense, because I would be inclined to say I look closer to Ghanaian than I do Nigerian, but I'll let y'all be the judge. Let me show y'all what I look like. So that's me right there. Y'all tell me what I look, because I don't see the Nigerian. And of course, I know Nigerians all don't have one, stereotypical look per se. However, even with the diversity of Nigerian looks, I do not have those genetic markers from what I've seen in my family. But then again, like I said, I don't know the paternal side. But even with the paternal side that I've been connected to, but then again, they have had Nigerian on my paternal side from what I'm seeing. I just didn't have it. But now they trying to say I got this abundance of it, but I clearly does not express it in my genetic makeup. Now I'm a little bit sad. And then the third one was, so there's my face up close, y'all. Do y'all see Nigerian in me? I don't. Matter of fact, I often get mistaken for East African, or if my hair is straight, I get mistaken for Indian from the continent, from Asia, but not Nigerian. I can see the Bantu, I can see the Mali, I can see definitely the Congo. But me personally, I do not see Nigerian DNA, so I'm trying to figure out where they get Nigeria from. But they got me right here at 24%. But that's it in a nutshell, y'all. These are my updated results. What do y'all think? Mm, I still. And then they don't even give me the. I remember before they would give you the option to look at your previous versions. Oh, there it go. Let me see. Learn more about this update. Maybe it give you the option to go to the previous. Okay, see, there it goes. The go to the previous ones. How is my estimated calculated? How might my estimate change? Okay, so it's showing how they can split into new ones, change in percentages, or just minor refinements. These changes could be large or small depending on what we're uploading. You think y'all done made me go from not being Nigerian at all to now it being among my top results, which I think is wrong. So they might need to update some more people. Yeah, this is how I need to know. How could my percentages change so much? We split some regions into smaller regions. We also have better ways of telling some neighbor regions apart. Either could mean large changes to your percentages. Oh, okay, I can understand that too a little bit because y'all know now Congo is actually considered East Africa. It was also considered, it was part of West Africa, but now they done merged in with East Africa. So technically, Congo is considered East African, even though now this is where it's going to confuse a lot of folks again. I am dominantly of West Africa. I identify as West African descent. As a black person who descends from American chattel slavery, most of us was brought over from West African countries. And Congo was also part of what was then West Africa. But now with the remapping, they are now considered East Africa. But I don't want people to confuse Congolese as in actual East African people. Because once again, like I said, looking at me, a lot of people would naturally think, I'm from Ethiopia or I'm from, Eritrea. If I'm darker, I've heard at times that people have referenced me to the Sudan. Like back then, I had a tan. Y'all seen the last video I just showed y'all where I was a little bit more darker. I get compared to the Sudan a lot. But yeah. In regards to the remapping, I can understand how the map would change as far as Ancestry is concerned. But as far as the actual DNA percentages, the people are still the same. I don't understand how. And like I said, I understand some they distinguish the people a little bit more, but I don't see where I gotten darn on Nigerian from. And then that's no shade to my Nigerians. I know y'all looking like, well, damn, Juan, you don't seem all that excited about us Nigerian people. What's going on with us? You always talking shit. You darn gonna went on Lovely T and Jack. I promise y'all, I don't got nothing against my Nigerian folks. I love OG from darn on basketball wise, if that helps. But yeah, but still, just personally though, hell, some of my good African supporters are Nigerian, but I feel like I don't, fit into the Nigerian aesthetic. And if I still have my Nigerian supporters that view me, y'all give y'all insight of whether y'all think I'm part of the Nigerian crew or not. I personally don't think I'm part of the Nigerian crew, and I wouldn't want to go around, now boasting I'm Nigerian, knowing damn well, knowing my family history, there is no actual evidence, at least on my maternal side, of such Nigerian ancestry. But like I said, the Congolese is definitely there. The Congolese definitely there. For whatever reason, they took the French out of my DNA. It was in the very first ancestry video that I done, which is accurate because the French is very much prevalent in the white side of my family. But for whatever reason, they just took that out. Done gave me Ireland and Scotland instead. Done gave me Norway. Like I said, I was able to confirm the Philippines, Sweden, and then they done split up and done made one of my Native American heritage from the islands somewhere. Like, what Indian people? I mean, to my Native Americans, what tribes are in, South America, Brazil? I'm not even familiar with. But then again, there could be some validity to that as well, though. Because like I said, I was able to, in my genealogy searches, find that there are actual natives that are outside the Cherokee tribe that is linked to my family. I just haven't been able to confirm what tribes and stuff they're from. But it's like, I ain't know South America. The ones I've been able to link to have all been here in America. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm still confused on this, Eastern South American one right here. But ultimately, I'm still the most confused about this dang on Nigerian, though. But at least they still got me dominantly Congolese at the end of the day. I know I'm a proud Congolese American sister. It's still through and through. So that's the one thing that's remained constant throughout all 3 of my Ancestry videos. From the very first one to the second one to the third one, Congo has always remained the top no matter how much they change it. So at least we know for a fact that your girl can still rep the Congo, undoubtedly. Now I am going to be biased and say I would have been upset if they would have took my Congo away from me, honey. Yeah, y'all done snatched Ghana from me. Y'all done swapped out Ghana and said, no, bitch, we're going to make you Nigerian. Okay. I guess y'all said, well, hell, it is what it is. We'll see what the next update will say. But it's just interesting how the DNA keeps updating with darn on time. Matter of fact, one thing I would love to do is actually do African ancestry next. But see, here's my thing though. I'd be afraid that it might do me like old girl. I seen one sister that was more phenotypically and genetically blacker than me, because she had white in her immediate family. Her shit just came up darn gone white European like they did. That's the thing. I don't want to waste money on African ancestry, and it does some shit like that with me, because as y'all can tell, I'm clearly dominantly black. But one girl who did her test, who was also black and visibly like, she wasn't biracial or none of that, but her great grandmother was like a white woman, and due to that, African ancestry just labeled her European and didn't give her no specifics of African DNA. Like, if it did that to me, I'd be pissed off and be asking for a refund. So, because I think that shit's still like $300. If I'm gonna cough up $300, you better darn gone show me some African darn gone stuff in detail. Like, I want to know what tribes I'm from. Like, Ancestry gives me the countries. 23andMe just gives you the general area. I might do that because with 23andMe, it also gives you comparisons of how you got your eye color, your hair. So I would take 23andMe for that reason right there. Like, I would love to know, what my taste buds got from where. Like, what traits did I inherit from my dad and what traits I inherited from my mother. So that would be good for 23andMe. For African ancestry, it will break down the Pacific African tribes. But once again, there's always that fear with somebody like me that it might just say European and that's it, and I will be pissed the fuck off. So African ancestry, if you want to send a girl a kit for free, or at least confirm that, looking at my African ancestry results, if y'all can give me a confirmation at the minimum that shit would not happen to me, I will save up the coin to buy African ancestry. But right now, I'm still hesitant of it. But y'all give me y'all thoughts, y'all. And y'all feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all soon with more videos. Mwah.